Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 31 of the Pinstripe Press. And wow, what a start for the Yanks. The boys are buzzing, Mike. The boys are buzzing. Starting off a hot 6-1 record. I mean, did you expect this at all?
I can't say I did. 6-1 is obviously great. I felt since the spring that we'd be improved. I didn't know we'd be this improved. I think after the Astros series, we've come back down to earth just a little bit. Obviously, we still won this Astros series or the Diamondback series, but we did lose our first game. But I mean, it's great to see the vibes are good. Things are looking up. Yeah, I mean, 6-1, great start. Since our last episode, just a few updates in the Yankees world, some news. Signed Phil Bickford to a minor league deal. Also traded away Nick Ramirez to the Dodgers for some cash considerations. A little bit of news on Japanese pitcher Roki Sasaki, who's lighting it up over there. Looks like he's being scouted by the Yankees and I'm sure many other teams. But yeah, he's posting like under a 2 ERA, so he's lighting it up. Also got some updates on Tommy Kahnle and his injury. Obviously, it didn't start off the season with us, and I guess his progress to returning slowed down a little bit. Not quite sure the timetable for his return, but it looks like we might be without him for a little longer than we're expecting. But with the bullpen so far, I think we can deal with that.
Yeah, I think everyone will pull their own weight. I think we've seen that already through the past series versus the Astros, and then leading into this series with the Diamondbacks, which, looking at it on paper, this was a tough road trip for the Yanks. Going from Houston to then Arizona, versus two contending teams, for them to pull out that 6-1, that's great. Obviously, that one loss, I don't know if it was due to happen, but I don't know. The way it happened, you can't be too happy about because it was definitely a poor performance. But, let's get right into it. Game one, this was kind of like the Luis Heel game. This was his first time starting since, 2022?
Yep. He didn't even pitch that much in 2022 either. So it was good to see him back. I think we really didn't know what to expect from him. Obviously he had a really good spring, but it wasn't a regular season game yet. So you wanted to see him in his first regular season game, see if he's, got it. He still got it after that big injury. I believe he got Tommy John.
Mm-hmm.
So, coming back, he obviously had a really good performance. And it was exciting to see him back for sure.
Yeah, if he could get going similar to Cabrera, some of these guys who are kind of prospects, not really, but definitely younger guys who, have been given on and off chances. So, if he could pitch like how he did in game one, he didn't go as far as you want, barely got through 5, didn't even get through 5 because his pitch count was pretty high. But, 6 strikeouts, only 1 run, only 1 hit, too. To one hit that Diamondbacks roster, which is pretty underrated from top to bottom, is pretty good. So, he got it done in the field. And then, Volpe, this guy's feels like no pressure on him, which he shouldn't. Obviously last year, getting called up and everyone else not performing, it seemed like he was also put on a pedestal. And then this year, with Soto, and some of our star players back, there's not much pressure on him, and he can kind of go out there and play just like Cabrera and, Volpe goes 4 for 4. Got it done on all cylinders there.
Yeah, that was just like super amazing to watch, to be honest. Volpe going 4 for 4, like every at bat, he was just dialed in, shooting the ball all around the field, getting extra base hits. Yeah, that was great to see, and he's honestly been spectacular. Batting, between like 5 and the 7 hole most of the time. I know we've talked about him possibly like wanting him to move to the leadoff. But I mean, if he's performing well in this 5 through 7 and the team's winning, you don't want to. I mean, maybe you don't want to change that up. I think he's been really impressive. And as you're saying, maybe just like a little bit of less pressure on his shoulders for him to, just, I don't know, let loose and, be himself, show his talent. And yeah, I mean, it's not just like, oh, he's feeling better, he's more confident. I think he definitely put the work in. Garrett Cole said it about him during his in-game interview, that Volpe just got that mindset. Just he keeps working on himself to improve, and he really just showed it in this game, which was really fun to watch. And yeah, for Heel as well, coming into the series with Diamondbacks team with like I think it was the best on base percentage through the first series, and then that's scary, for a young pitcher, and he comes in and deals 6 Ks in under 5 innings.
So the young guys, I mean, again, it's the youngsters helping the Yanks out here, and through both those outings, Yanks go away 5-2, and a hot 5-0 start for the Yanks. And then game 2, we were feeling it, man. I mean, we were on top, and we had to be pulled back to reality. Got a glimpse of the old Yankees. Yankees lose 7-0, get shut out, only have 3 hits, and Nestor's on the bump and stinks up the room. I mean, 3 runs given up. It's not
all in the first inning as well. Once again, so I guess similarly the last start, his first start, he's given up his runs early and is able to bounce back, which I think is somewhat positive, but still not exactly what we want to see.
Yeah, like we've said before, like, if the pitchers can stick to like only a couple runs, or not even that, like if they give up 4 runs, like we're still capable. But like I think no matter what sport you play, like when you're down early and like this early, like the first inning, like I mean that's tough. Like I don't know, it's tough to bounce back like that. But I mean obviously he dials in after, but I don't know. I mean, all that momentum goes to the Diamondbacks. I mean, after you put up 3 runs, like now it's like, okay, the pressure is fully on the offense. It's not, it's pretty much like, we got to get on base and score ASAP, which it should be, but, with less pressure, you can change your approaches up. But I mean, 8 hits, 3 runs, like you said, all early, not ideal. And I mean, the bullpen didn't help him at all. Really didn't help the team. Victor Gonzalez, he gets in, gives up 2 runs in 1 inning. And then Kirk Cousins, what is he? Is it Kirk Cousins' cousin or something?
Yeah. Kirk Cousins' cousin. A lot of cousins.
He comes in and it looks like Kirk Cousins in prime time.
Gave up a 3-run homer.
Yeah. 4 strikeouts.
Oh man, come on. No. Jake didn't have it in his Yankee debut. But at that point it was Yeah, I mean it wasn't over, but it was only 3-0 at that
Yeah.
point where he gave up the the homer. But I mean, at that point we kind of knew the bats weren't alive and they weren't really turning up. Um, to be fair to the lineup, it was against Zach Gallen, who pitched 6 really good innings and is just an outstanding pitcher. We know that, but still, 3 hits is unacceptable. Um, yeah, like you said, it's what we saw last year. I'm sure with mainly the same lineup, we'll see that at some points. We'll definitely be seeing that a little bit, but hopefully not as much as we did last year.
Yeah. Yeah. The bats were not there, and once again, same three people, getting these hits: Soto, Volpe, and Cabrera. So far to start the season. Which I mean, on paper, we're 6-1, but we'll get into it a little bit soon. But the offense is definitely got to wake up, and there are concerns. But short mindset. We head into game 3, the last game of the series. Try to win this series, go back-to-back series wins. Um, and this game, you know, Rodon's on the bump. It's, I mean, yeah, going forward till Cole comes back, it's gonna be Nesta Rodon back-to-back, and back-to-back important outings for both. And I mean Rodon, not too shabby. I mean, he gave up 2 runs, too many hits given up. I mean, 7. That's not ideal. Didn't get through 6. But I mean, I think if you look at last season's for him, like I think so far, like I feel like you'll take this start for Rodon. You know, he's doing his job. I mean, he's given up a couple runs, but like we've been saying, nothing that's not manageable for this offense. And I mean, you see this in that game yesterday, and the Yankees take this game in extras. You know, they score late, um, and help out that pitching. And I want to say, dude, Ian Hamilton, he's been killing it lately. I mean,
Lights out.
he pitched well last season when he got the chances towards the end, and I mean, it just seems like he's keeping that going. I
Yeah,
mean,
that was really strong. I mean, what, like almost 3 full innings of work from him, um, in relief, and 4 strikeouts. Got through almost 3 innings in 27 pitches. That was really good. I wanted to go back to Rodon just a little bit. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's you could take some positives from it. I think so far he hasn't been that bad. Definitely a lot better than what we saw last year. The concerning stuff is like not as many strikeouts, more hits. Like you mentioned, it's not what we're used to seeing from Rodon, um, but that might just be the reality now. I think even last year and now into this year, we're seeing him give up more contact and more hard contact. Sometimes that's gonna sometimes that's gonna result in hits, which it has been. Um, but if that's what it takes to get the outs, and maybe he's still going to be effective, but just not with as many strikeouts. Might just have to live with that.
yeah, I'm curious. I'm trying to think, like looking around the league at some of these other pitchers. I guess this is like why you kind of miss Garrett Cole, man, because like you like to see that exciting like 10 strikeout day. But like I don't know. I mean, looking around the league, like I don't know. It almost feels like strikeouts are down. At least like pitchers aren't throwing as many. I mean, how many double-digit strikeout games have we had so far? I mean, only Corbin Burns. And I mean, even some of these guys aren't even getting 7 strikeouts. So I'm just wondering, like maybe I don't know. I definitely think hitters are getting better. you know, with analytics heavily in this game now. And I don't know. I mean, I do think the umps have been very inconsistent. So I think a mix of both. I think pitchers have been at a disadvantage. And who knows if that stays up. But I don't know. I mean, I think just from seeing around the league, like I think that's something I've noticed is, I mean, the season's still early, but like I don't know. I just feel like pitchers aren't even getting like 6 to 7 strikeouts right lately.
Yeah, I just actually looked it up while you're talking. There's been 8 pitchers who have done it one time, get 10 or more strikeouts in a game. Um, and yeah, I mean, that's not that many. I don't. Maybe sounds like more than you might be thinking, but like I don't know. There's still already been a ton of games that have happened. So,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, good point.
Hmm. But yeah, I mean, I think looking at this game, the Yankees take it an extra 6-5. It was definitely scary there towards the end. They almost blew it multiple times in extras, but you know, the bullpen continues to stay very consistent, which what they are. They're good. I feel like they're gonna be good. Obviously, that second game was a little rough, but I mean, I don't know. It almost I don't. It seems like we got definitely like Loizaga, Holmes, even Ferguson. You know, I don't know. I just if they can keep like a good strategy like that, like I don't know, you got 1, 2, 3 punches right there. If you can keep that consistency up of that type of schedule, I mean, that'd be great. And then it was really good to see Verdugo hit that homer. Like go ahead 2-run homer to take a lead in the 10th, but obviously Yankees make some dumb mistakes, and obviously Holmes was in, but I really don't think it was really his fault. You know,
No,
I mean, there was a lot of plays that should have been made. I mean, Volpe's got to make those throws, and that game's over by then. But obviously that doesn't happen. Just I don't know, just small errors they got to clean up. That they shouldn't be making.
yeah. I mean, luckily we come out with the win there. It was yeah, it was a fun one, tight one. Um, yeah, I mean, Aaron Judge pulled through in this game 2-run homer to give us the lead during I think it was around the 5th inning maybe. Um, and then in extras, he also drove in a run to put us up 6-4 in the 11th. So he showed up in this game finally, um, and then we end the game with a strikeout to their pitcher, which was funny.
Yeah, I saw that too. But yeah, I mean, good to refreshing to see Judge get on the board for homers at least. He hasn't had a great start at all to the year. Um, but yeah, I mean, hopefully, that sparks something in him. Kind of shakes off the rust, any nerves too. I think it's always good it's always good to get that first thing at the start of the season. A lot of analysts say that it's always good to see that first homer. Players like to see that, and gets them back in the groove. So I mean, I hope that does that for Judge, because if he can start to play like how he is, I mean, just think like on top of how Soto Volpe's playing, you know, Verdugo putting the ball in play, even Wells getting some hard contact hits too. Um, I don't know. I think it's been good so far, but I think like we referred to, there's been a lot of bad things, a lot of concerns too, um, which leads us into the segment of good, bad, and ugly. Um, and let's start with those concerns. The offense in game two at least, and not even. I think if you go further than game two, you know, honestly, every game this season so far, there's been little segments that the offense just has not peaked at all. But definitely in game two of this series, we saw it a lot. I mean, 3 hits, and like I said, um, it's Volpe, Soto, and Cabrera. The three guys who have been probably the three best hitters on this team so far. So it's inconsistent, and I do think they're not getting hits, but they are getting on base with walks. But it's like, yeah, still, since we're not getting hits, we're not scoring guys in. Um, and I mean, how many double plays are we going to hit into too with runners in scoring position? But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's been an issue for sure. I mean, like even in game 3 of the Diamondback series, before extras, we only scored 2 runs, which were on the Judge homer. So other than that, we didn't score anything until the extras, which obviously our offense turned up then. But yeah, there's been some concerns where with like the sluggish offense, like we saw last year. Um, but I think definitely the big one was game 2 with only 3 hits. We don't want to be seeing that too often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotta clean that up for sure. I guess based on the bad would be Nestor, which uh, it's definitely a bad start, but I don't know. He bounces back, but it's like I don't know. I mean, you just dig yourself in a hole that is just so frustrating to see. I mean, I just I don't know. Like it's just annoying. Like it almost like he gets himself in these issues. Like I don't know. He starts off like the inning good, and then he gets one guy on, then walks the other, and then he'll like hit a batter, and then it's like his bases loaded, and then he'll miss on a pitch, and then they score two, in the gap, and it's just like I don't know, just does not set the tone at all, and I don't know, he has just not been good. I obviously hit the numbers for runs given up aren't that bad on paper, but I mean for your first two starts, definitely not acceptable for. I don't know. It's just the standard the Yankees hold. Like you don't want to say it, but like I don't know. I feel like he's kind of overhyped.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's definitely early, but it's like I don't know. I That's just a bold take. I feel like he has his moments, but like I don't know. Like maybe it's the pressure for him too. I just like I don't know the whole nasty Nestor. Like I don't know. Like that plat, not that I don't know. Like the positioning he's now like put in. Like I don't know. Like
yeah. I mean, if you look at where he came from, it was he was not a good MLB pitcher.
mhm.
Um, then out of nowhere he is for a few seasons. You wonder like is he maybe coming back down to earth after two like in 2021 and 2022 two good really good seasons, and then 2023 injury riddled, and maybe he's coming back down to earth. um, but also it's we're putting him like technically as our ace right now. He's our first starter. That's I mean that's big shoes to fill, especially with Garrett Cole being the one that's supposed to be in there, and it's got to be a lot of pressure, especially being the ace on the Yankees. Um, Ideally, you want him to be like back end, like number 4 in the rotation, and just be fun again. Like I feel like we haven't seen him do much of his like fun, releases and
Yeah, his antics.
maneuvers as much anymore. Um, it doesn't seem like Nestor's really himself anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Yeah, I mean, we all want to see him back to his nasty Nestor self. I mean, what would you think about him going into possibly the bullpen again? Long relief guy.
Um,
I mean, what point would you like look at that? Like, okay, you know, clearly this isn't working. You know, maybe we like, okay, we'd like to just throw you in the pen for a couple of games, get some long relief to try to spark something again.
I think we're a long, long way from that. It'd have to be a really, really bad season or like few months for Nestor, because they. I mean, at this point, I think Boone and Matt Blake really trust him,
Mm-hmm.
and there's there's no way they pull this like they cut him off like that quickly. Um, like even we saw it with Severino last year. There were the talks of possibly moving him to the bullpen, but that never even happened, and he pitched terribly. Um, now it would have to be a lot of bad outings for Nestor for me to see that happen. And another issue with that is, who else do we bring in to start? If maybe if Luis Heel keeps having some really good outings, he might earn a spot in the rotation. And, you'll have Garrett Cole come back. Maybe Rodon keeps pitching pretty solid. And then Stroman and Schmidt as well. Maybe that's an option, moving Nestor to the bullpen. But to be honest, I don't really see it happening unless he's, really bad. Yeah, I just think there's too much trust in him and belief in him for that to happen. I mean, you see how much they believe in him. They made him the opening day starter. He's going to be seeing the matchups that Garrett Cole would have been seeing, so they definitely believe in him.
Mm-hmm. And we'll continue to believe in him. That was Good, Bad, and Ugly, sponsored by. I'm just kidding.
We didn't do our good.
Oh shoot, yeah, good. Anthony Volpe. I don't actually, yeah. I was on the fence of maybe him or Judge, just because of Judge's homer and double in the last game, but
throughout the whole series, I'd say probably Volpe.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously he had his 4-for-4 game. I think he's gotten a hit every game of this series, I believe.
Not game 3.
Not game 3.
Did get on base.
Okay.
But
he's having good at bats though.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, difference we saw from this year to last year so far is he's coming with a different approach at the plate. He's having better at bats. I think he's seeing the ball better. And it all goes back to that pressure. I do have, his fielding is still a question to me. Obviously, he did win Gold Glove, which, there's some debates on that. But I think his fielding is definitely still not a concern of mine, but it's, it's not totally something you're so comfortable with, at least right now. You'd like him to clean it up because, we almost lost the game because, he couldn't make a throw and then we're throwing the ball around. We just got to lock in there and, just clean that stuff up because, how many times have we seen, errors? We're used to that with Torres at short. That's another story with him there. But, Volpe's playing well. He really is. And, we view him as hope, the future shortstop, obviously the future franchise shortstop for a long period of time with the Yankees. And, he's had a great season so far. I've liked what I've seen so far from him.
Oh, yeah. He's batting over 400. Really good at bats, drawing a lot of walks, getting a lot of hits, not pulling the ball, not too much of, an uppercut swing. Um, yeah, I mean, he's just getting on base. It's still only been 2 series, but I think it's clear that there's been some steady improvement, and at least, I mean, honestly, a pretty big uptick in improvement.
Yep. 100%. Now that is good, bad, and ugly. Um, you know, good series, and a good series too. It's always nice, you talk about you have a good, bad, and ugly segment, when the series as well. Um, I want to go into a new segment, continuing with these segments here. Um, I think they're interesting and they spark some conversation, at least with us, and hopefully you know, for those tuning in, you think about this and leave some comments. Like we say, we're active on all our social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You might be listening to this on Spotify, but reach out to us, and also if you have any segments or specific things you'd like us to talk about, that'd be pretty cool too. But this segment, I kind of wanted to target more towards the moments of the series. So, kind of you ranking some of the moments. I don't have a name yet. I do want to come up with a nice nickname for this segment, but for right now, it's called Moments Rankings. Um, so a couple moments. Obviously, there were a lot of moments throughout this series, but these 4 moments: Volpe 4 for 4 game, heel outing, Verdugo's 2-run homer, and then also that sneaky go ahead balk we saw.
Oh, oof. All right. 1 through 4. I'll give you those quick ranking. Although it didn't give us the win exactly, I'm gonna have to put Verdugo's 2-run home run in the one. That was just an electric moment. His first homer of this season. Pimp job. That was tough. Next, I'll probably go Volpe 4 for 4. His performance. That was I don't know. It was like I said before. It's just a great game to watch. Great to see the youngster keep performing better this season. Um, 3, I'll go Luis Hill in his first start of the season. 4.2 innings for him, 6 Ks. I think it was really exciting to see him come back um, after a couple years and show that he's a capable MLB starter still. Um, and then yes, that means the balk, the go-ahead balk is in the 4. But um, I mean, as much as that is like pretty funny and cool, it's just not as big as a moment I'd say as the other 3.
I will say I will agree with that. I like that list a lot. Um, that's such, you know, I don't know. It's an interesting game. Baseball is. I mean, just think about those situations there. I mean, you got, one guy's got a 4-4 game. Another guy's got an extra innings 2-run homer for a guy who's not a power hitter. And then obviously, we have a guy who hasn't pitched in 2 years, have almost a lights out game, 1-hit game, and then, random go ahead balk that, pretty much sets up the win for us. But yeah, that's a good list.
All in one series. All in one series. We've
Yeah.
been spoiled. Got to say, we've been spoiled for some good moments and pretty exciting games so far this season.
Yeah. So tomorrow, Yankees take on the Blue Jays, and it is the opening game at the stadium. Baseball is back in the Bronx. I'm very excited to watch this game. I think for numerous reasons. Obviously, we've seen Soto and Verdugo and um, some of the new guys in the pinstripes, but I think it's gonna be awesome to see You know, these guys wearing the pinstripes in the stadium. I even like the roll call. I'm curious to see what that's going to be like. Like, I'm sure the fans are going to be nuts. Like, I mean, this is probably an awesome game to go to. If anyone's going to that, like, that's going to be a crazy environment. I'm curious to see, kind of what Soto and Verdugo's kind of roll call move will be. Um, that should be interesting. But there's a lot of things to look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, not only do you have that energy in the outfield that's been, amazing to see, but you got Stroman on the bump tomorrow, uh, pitching in the Yankees' first game in the Bronx of 2024. I think, based on how he's performed in his first start of the season and in spring, I think it'll be really fun to see him in the Bronx, pitching in front of the home crowd. People are excited after a 6-1 start, and you've got Juan Soto and Aaron Judge still hitting back to back in the lineup. Yeah, it should be a really fun one against the Blue Jays this series, who are currently 3-4. Um, but yeah, tomorrow definitely really excited for. Whole series should be a good one. First AL East series. Um, so yeah, back at home.
hmm Yeah, I think um, should be a competitive series. All these AL East games are going to be very competitive. Um, and dude, I mean, just thinking like the first Soto short porch homer. I guess even his first homer in the stadium, but I don't know. I mean, you can just think about it. Like imagine like a night game. Um, I don't know, night game, and it's a intense, close game, and Soto's at the bat just gives you a go ahead of homer, and the lights are flashing there. Um,
Oh yeah,
I don't know. Like I'm excited to see that. Hopefully we're definitely gonna try to go to a game. And at that game, we'll try to capture as much content, give live updates throughout the game. But I guess to kind of end this here, um, I do want to do a game, but before that, kind of like a wrap up recap, kind of like our thoughts here. Obviously the Yankees are 6-1. We got this series coming up with the Blue Jays. Um, I think like how are you comfortable with what you have seen so far, and are you comfortable with the position we're in? Obviously we are in first place, but it's really really early. It's a very long season ahead. But I mean, how, I guess, satisfied are you with the play you've seen so far? And how confident are you going forward?
I think as a Yankees fan, you got to be happy, extremely happy with what we've seen so far. I think in your three main, aspects, or like three main parts of the team, I your starting pitching, your bullpen, and your offense. I think we've seen a lot of improvements and mostly positives. Um, the lineup is much improved with more balance with the lefties. Um, a lot of energy, a lot of good vibes. Um, the, the starting pitching, for the most part, has been pretty solid um, throughout. I think especially going down towards the back of the rotation, having guys we can trust down there has been really nice to see with their first couple of first outings being good, and then the bullpen. You gotta love what you're seeing there. I mean, it's you're if you go into the late innings with a lead with this bullpen, um, there's a good chance you're going to win that game. And also, if you're losing, um, they they can keep you in it for a late comeback. Um, while I don't think we'll stay at this pace, I think this will be a good season. I'm very optimistic. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Um, you know, the guys are playing their game and vibes are high. I expect it to keep going that way.
Mhm. Definitely like to hear that. Vibes are high. Boys are buzzing. The Bronx will be rocking. Um, but yeah, let's get into this. The game show is back. The season's back. The rankings are back. The good, bad, and ugly are back. And why not bring the game show back? Um, and for this week's, at least this episode's game, I thought why not stay on the topic of opening series. Um, Opening series at the stadium. Um, and I kind of wanted to stick with rankings because I'm very curious to see kind of your thoughts on this. And I think recently, the best stadium, or at least the stadium rankings came out, like MLB's. And I know you've made it kind of like a bucket list. If you want to explain more about it, but the bucket list, to travel to every stadium in the MLB.
Yeah. So I've been to 9 so far. Well, I was about to say only, but 9. I'd say that's pretty nice
Mhm.
so far. But yeah, I've been to 9 stadiums, mostly East Coast because obviously we're from New York. But yeah, I think yeah, I mean it's just something I've always wanted to do. Um, and it looks like instead of going to Oakland, I might be going to Sacramento or Las Vegas.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's awesome. Uh, that's a cool thing to do. I definitely would like to go see more stadiums. Haven't gone to as many as you have, but you know, that's very that's an awesome bucket list to have and a great experience. So based on that, Yankees are heading back to the Bronx. And Yankee Stadium is such an iconic place. Um, I want you to rank. What's your ranking for the top five stadiums in the MLB?
In the MLB or that I've been to.
Um,
In the MLB, I
do both.
um,
Do both. Do both. Do both. Do both.
okay.
Both.
Um, that I've been to, I'm gonna be completely unbiased here. Um, I'm gonna say I gotta say PNC at number one. I know it was number one in the poll or in the rankings that the MLB came out with, but it's just a beautiful stadium. Um, Went there this past fall, and yeah, it's just an amazing place, an amazing city. The view is incredible. The surround, like the whole, um, everything in the stadium is really nice. Um, After that, I'm gonna go Camden, um, Camden Yards in Baltimore. Another iconic and beautiful stadium with the factory in right field. I think it's yeah, I don't know, just another classic, uh, nice stadium. Number 3, I'm gonna go Yankee Stadium. Yeah, I think it's an iconic stadium. Maybe a little bit of bias, but um, yeah, just going there when I was young and going there throughout the years. It's um, it just reminds me of every time I'm watching on TV and someone hits a home run, you can see that backdrop of all the billboards and everything. It's just something that you can't experience in many places. Um, 4, I'm going Fenway. Fenway right after. Um, Obviously, an iconic stadium, oldest one out there, or right next to Wrigley is the oldest one. Um, yeah, I think uh, just iconic. The green monster is imposing and really cool. Got to see a couple homers over the Green Monster in the game that I went to there. I think it was a really cool ballpark. Obviously old and not the greatest, like, I don't know, like surroundings, but like the atmosphere was pretty cool. Um, Obviously, being a Yankees versus Boston game, it was pretty exciting as well. And then in my five, I'll go Progressive Field in Cleveland. Kind of a generic stadium, but it's pretty renovated, new, modern, and I really enjoyed it. Obviously, haven't been to that many, but yeah, those are my five that I've been to. Top five in the league. I'm still gonna have to go PNC at one. I'm not as versed in the stadiums that I haven't been to, but I'd probably put Camden somewhere in the top five. I don't know where exactly. Camden, Yankee Stadium towards the bottom of the five, probably. Maybe around five. Wrigley will get in there at the four, I'll say. Oh man, I'm pretty sure I'm probably missing one that everyone likes. But I know. I'll go Petco in San Diego. That'll round out my five. That one with like the brick in the left field is pretty sick.
Nice stadiums. Definitely want to head out to some of those and adventure there. But yeah, Yankees, like we said, opening series at the Bronx for this year. Soto's first game there, Verdugo's first game there, and also Stroman gets the ball tomorrow. I think what game's at 105. And yeah, hope for a good series there. Hopefully the Yankees can keep the momentum up. Hopefully the bats can wake up and produce some runs. We're tired of seeing ground ball double plays, and let's see some runs. And hopefully pitching continues to do what it does. And then hopefully when we talk to you guys next week, hopefully what's Blue Jays 3-game series?
Yep, 3 games.
3 games.
Then we got Miami.
So yeah, we'll try to be back before that Marlins series. Hopefully Yankees are 9-1 by then.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So yeah, check us out. Whether you're listening or watching right now, check out our TikTok and Instagram. We're very active on both of those. So yeah, do that.
Go Yanks.
Peace.